What's up, Taiwan? I'm Brossard with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Police are investigating the leaders of a fringe political party. The group has passed links to organized crime and have invited top officials from the Japanese Yakuza to visit Taiwan. Police want to know more about the group's affiliations and their motivations. Jaime Ocon has more.
This is Zhang Anle. He is known as the White Wolf, and he heads the Chinese Unification Promotion Party here in Taiwan. It's far from the most popular party, polling at just a few %, but it makes headlines for its extreme message, pushing for unification with China under a one-country, two-systems model like Hong Kong. Zhang also makes no secret of his background in organized crime. He was part of the Bamboo Union, Taiwan's largest criminal triad, and on Sunday, police were on alert after he met with leaders from the Japanese underworld, often known as the Yakuza. Zhang says there's nothing criminal about the meeting. Yakuza is the name given to organized crime syndicates in Japan. Their members are notorious for sporting intricate tattoos. And this is not the first time that similar groups from Taiwan and Japan have met. Japanese media in 2018 reported that Zhang Wei, White Wolf's son, led a group to attend a meeting with high-level figures in the Okinawan Yakuza. Police are now investigating if there's any illegal activity going on between the two groups.
本署已经掌握了他们相关的一个情资也针对他们这整个参访的一个行程有进行这个搜证跟调查，那防止这个我们台日的帮派跟这些团体做一个串联影响到我们的社会治安。
There are no indications that the two groups are planning anything together, but with public safety and organized crime in the spotlight ahead of Taiwan's general elections next year, authorities will be watching closely. Rick E. and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan again was not invited to the World Health Assembly. The 76th meeting of the World Health Organization's decision-making body began on Sunday. States friendly toward Taiwan called for the country's inclusion at the assembly. Bing Wong has more.
One by one, Taiwan's allies this week called on the World Health Organization to allow Taipei to take part in the World Health Assembly, or WHA. The WHA is the highest decision-making body where global health policy is formed, but Taiwan was not invited.
Discussions such as these should exclude no one, especially not Taiwan with its 23 million people, who successfully united to overcome the pandemic and set an example for the world.
Taiwan should be allowed to be an observer at the WHA and be given meaningful access to all relevant technical meetings.
Until 2016, Taiwan had observer status at the WHA. It was shut out of succeeding meetings because of China's objections. China claims Taiwan as part of its own territory and sees any international recognition of the island nation as an affront to Chinese sovereignty. From Taipei, Taiwan's foreign ministry has lodged a complaint, saying in a press statement that excluding Taiwan because of political pressure from China is not only unjust, but also constitutes a grave risk to global health. While not formally attending the meetings, Taiwan's health minister is in Geneva working on the sidelines.
我们乐意加入这种全球的或者是多国多中心的一些临床试验，在一些新药、新器材的研发上面，或者药品器材的一些引进。
As the WHA's 76th annual meeting got underway in Geneva, hundreds of Taiwan supporters gathered outside the venue, confronting the head of the World Health Organization as he arrived. This is what he had to say about Taiwan's participation.
If member states, we have 194. If they vote in favor, that's their duty, you see?
Yeah, but
so it's for the member states.
But Taiwan's foreign ministry said the country's inclusion isn't dependent on a vote, and the head of the WHO could have issued a direct invitation. Taiwan says it's not looking for pity and having other countries speak up for its inclusion, but instead it is looking to offer its own expertise and learn from other countries in the assembly. Howard Sung and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
The U.S. and Papua New Guinea have signed a defense deal that Washington says will make the Pacific more stable and secure. It's seen as part of a push by the U.S. to build influence in the region as China does the same. So far, no details on the agreement have been released. The U.S. says it'll publish the text once the deal goes into effect. Last year, Papua New Guinea's Pacific neighbor, the Solomon Islands, signed a defense pact with Beijing. China is investing hundreds of millions of dollars in Pacific countries, building infrastructure such as roads and ports. But U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the Papua New Guinea deal is not about China.
First, the agreements that we've reached, the work that we're doing, is not about any other country. It's about our relationship with the Pacific Islands and the shared vision that we have for this region.
Ukraine is denying accusations from Russia that it sent a so-called sabotage group to attack a district across the Russian border. This comes after two Ukraine-based Russian opposition groups claimed responsibility for the attacks. Clashes took place in Russia's southwestern region of Belgorod on Monday. There were reports of injuries but no deaths. Ukrainian intelligence services say the Liberty of Russia Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps were behind the attacks. The two groups are made up of Russian citizens who oppose their country's invasion of Ukraine and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ukrainian officials confirmed the Russian units had carried out an operation in the border area, but they say they acted independently. Thailand's opposition Move Forward Party and its 7 political allies have signed a pact to draft a new constitution. The agreement includes amendments to end monopolies and allow same-sex marriage. This follows Move Forward's unexpected win in Thailand's general elections last week. Pita Limjaroenrat, the party's leader and candidate for prime minister, is seeking to form a coalition government and cut military involvement in Thai politics. But Monday's pact made no mention of the country's strict royal defamation law, or Article 112, which Move Forward pledged to amend. So far, none of its allies have backed this point of policy.
หลังจากที่เรามีทีมเจรจานะครับก็มีโอกาสได้ตอบนะครับคลายข้อกังวลใจของวุฒิสภาหลายเรื่องนะครับถึงเจตจำนงถึงเนื้อหาของกฎหมายที่ตั้งใจที่จะทำให้กฎหมายม.112เนี่ยไม่เป็นเครื่องมือในการโจมตีกันทางการเมืองทำลายทางการเมือง
40 medals for 32 dancers. Team Taiwan bellied up to the bar at this year's international belly dancing competition in Seoul. It's the first time Taiwan has fielded a team this big, with young and old male and female dancers. Jeremy Olivier has this story.
Brightly colored costumes and lively music keep this audience mesmerized. This is the Live FID International Belly Dancing Competition. But it's not in Egypt, the birthplace of the flashy performance art. Rather, this contest takes place in the South Korean capital of Seoul. This year, Taiwan sent a team of 32 belly dancers to compete in the event. It's the first since the COVID-19 pandemic started. The team shook the competition, walking away with 15 golds, 17 silvers, 8 bronzes, and 13 honorable mentions. For the dancers, this was the payoff for all their hard work during the pandemic closures.
其实疫情这几年，我想大家的心情可能都有一点比较低潮一点了哈。但是在疫情这个时候，我觉得应该就是更应该好好准备的时候，因为机会其实就是给平常就准备好的人。
Belly dance started catching on in Taiwan in the mid-2000s. It was seen as a healthy form of exercise, and one that brought together elements of different cultures. The bar for entry is low. And though many who enjoy belly dancing are women, it's not limited to any gender. And as dancer Wu Yishi says, age doesn't mean a thing.
其实我已经是老年族了，我60岁了，会，因为我60岁，我两个孙子了，然后我就想说，等到这2只腿跳不动。
The pandemic halted the competition for 3 years, but with more medals than dancers, Team Taiwan has shown that good things can come to those who wait. Eason Chen and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
The international media often portray Taiwan as a hotspot for regional tension. Today, Andrew Ryan travels to the outlying islands of Matsu, just off the shore of China, to find out how it's also a budding hotspot for tourism.
A secret underground waterway for military ships, a creative coffee that tastes like a strong local liquor called gaoliang, and a glow-in-the-dark phenomenon that could give the Northern Lights a run for its money. These are just some of the things you'll find in the outlying islands of Matsu. Now, late spring is one of the toughest times of the year to travel to Matsu. A lot of flights get canceled due to bad weather. But spring is also the best season to catch a glimpse of the blue tears. So we're going to find our way to Matsu no matter what it takes. So we were supposed to take a plane to Matsu, but it turns out that Matsu gets a lot of fog. So instead, we have to go there by boat. How long is it going to take? 3 hours. See you in Matsu. The official name of Matsu is Lianjiang County. It's a chain of 36 islands just off the southeastern coast of China. The closest point is just 9 kilometers away, making it an important frontline post in early confrontations between Taiwan and China. When tensions eased in the early 90s, this once forbidden outpost opened to visitors, but you can still see soldiers and hear the sounds of artillery practice. For our first stop in Matsu, the county chief brings us to an old military site that he says every visitor should see.
这个地方叫做北海坑道，北海坑道大概民国57年，军方在这边的时候开始兴建。它当初最主要的目的是两岸对峙的时候呢，这边做地下码头。
It took nearly 3 years to create this 640-meter waterway. Teams of soldiers worked round the clock using dynamite to blast their way through the granite. It was hard work, and lives were lost in the process.
早期的时候，这个地方是马祖最神秘的一个区块，一般人是不能进来的，因为外围有部队守着。那渐渐的开放以后呢？ 那现在就把它开发成观光。
At low tide, you can walk along the edges, but at high tide, the path is underwater, so the county chief invites me on a boat ride instead. Back in the day, these waters could hold 120 boats. Today, the county chief says the waters contain a lot of fish and a lot of iPhones. And while there's not much to see, there is plenty to hear.
窗发了，窗儿呀随风荡漾。
这个辅音句
好棒哦，
好棒哈，
很像威尼斯，
就是威尼斯没有我们漂亮，
有没有？ Now, the gondoliers in Matsu don't usually sing, but you can catch a proper concert in these tunnels. And that's just one of the creative ways that Matsu is moving beyond its military past. Alex Chen, Devin Tai, Peachy Drong, and Andrew Ryan for TaiwanPlus. Coming up in part 2, we visit one of the tallest Matsu statues in the world to find out what the goddess of the sea has to do with these islands. Plus, further ahead in our series, will we find what we came here to see?
A rare watch previously owned by the last emperor of China is up for auction in Hong Kong. The timepiece is made of platinum and has both a moon phase and a triple calendar feature. The watch belonged to Puyi, the Xuantong emperor of China's Qing dynasty. Puyi ascended to the dragon throne at the age of 2, but was forced to step down after only a few years following the Xinhai Revolution. He would go on to become the emperor of the Japanese puppet state of Manchukuo. According to experts, Puyi gave the watch to his interpreter while imprisoned in the Soviet Union following Japan's defeat in World War II. The watch is expected to sell for over $3 million. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of a Taiwan food festival currently taking place at Tokyo's Skytree Tower. I'm Philip Brossard. Take care and see you next time.